Good morning, students. Today we'll start with the next part of the lesson, that is volumetric calculations. Now, equivalent weight of acids, bases, salts, they are generally determined by volumetric analysis. Now, when we say analysis can be of two types. We have qualitative analysis, we have quantitative analysis. When we say qualitative analysis, we are trying to find out what are the different substances present, what is the composition in terms of the elements present in that particular compound. Maybe, like for example, if you're making tea, the qualitative would be how much, what tea leaves have been added, whether it was a packet milk or directly from the dairy, etc. It means it depends on the quality of a particular substance. So we analyze the quality of that particular substance and we say it's a qualitative analysis. When we talk about quantitative analysis, we are generally considering the amount of a particular substance present in that particular compound or solution that we are going to study. So, quantitative is in terms of the amount. How much? In tea, are you placing 1 spoon of tea leaves or 2 spoon of tea leaves? 1 spoon sugar, half a spoon sugar or no sugar? So these different amount of particular substances we talk in terms of quantitative analysis. And volumetric analysis is quantitative. Now, what is volumetric analysis? Generally, these equivalent weights of acids or salts or bases, they generally, they are determined by volumetric. That is analysis which is involving the measurement of volume. That is volumetric. Now, in volumetric analysis, we have a known volume of a given substance or solution. That means we know the exact volume of that particular solution, and that is taken, and we also know the exact strength of a particular solution. And using this known solution whose strength I know, whose volume I know, and I use this solution to find out the strength and the volume of something which is unknown to me. Some solution whose amount, whose strength, whose concentration I do not know. So I'm using volume to understand or to determine the strength or concentration of some unknown solution. So we say that type of an analysis is volumetric analysis. So volumetric analysis is a quantitative analysis and is involved in the determination of the strength, or you can say concentration of an unknown solution with the help of a known strength or a known solution. Known means where I know the amount, I know the strength of that particular solution or concentration, how much of the solute is present in that particular amount of the solvent. I know that. Then that particular solution we say is a known solution. So determining the strength of an unknown with the help of a known solution, we say is volumetric analysis. And more often when you will be coming to for your practicals, you will come to know more about volumetric when we do with titrations, because most the volumetric analysis is done in terms of titrations. Okay, so when we say titration, now titration, it is actually a method which involves the addition of a solution of known strength. We'll come to each of these terms. Involves the addition of a solution of known strength to a definite volume of a solution of unknown strength. That means I have two solutions. Okay, two solutions. I've taken A and B in two different beakers, and I know the strength of A. I know how much of solute is present in A, how much of solvent was present, what is the composition of that particular solution, I know. And B, solution B, I do not know. So I have, suppose, let me take A is an acid, B is a base. Now I will allow the reaction to take place. by taking a definite volume of the unknown. I'm taking B. Suppose I'm taking 20 ml of B. And I'm going to react it with an unknown A. So when I do this B, when I'm taking this unknown B, I have 20 ml of unknown B, and I'm going to react it with the known solution A. The amount or the definite volume, how much I require of B, so that the complete reaction takes place, just finishes. The reaction is just complete. That volume I have to calculate. And that volume to calculate, we use the process of titration. Now, that point where during that process, you will come to know when we come to the practical labs, you have your titration as one of your practicals. There you will come to know what exactly and how you use the different apparatus. You have a titration flask, you have a titration, you have a burette, you have a pipette, and you start with the burette is filled with a particular solution, you pipette out certain unknown solution, and you try to find out the volume. So the apparatus you will see when you come to the lab. So when we say titration, what is titration? It is actually involving the addition of a solution of known strength to a definite volume of a solution of unknown strength until the reaction between them is just complete. And that particular point, when the reaction gets just completed, we say is the end point. Okay, the end point. So the point during the titration, when the reaction just gets completed, we say is the end point. So we'll come to the different terms. Okay, the first term is titration. That's a method, the process by which we are trying to find out the volume and the strength of an unknown solution. The end point, the point during the titration process when the reaction gets just completed, is the end point. I have an unknown solution. What's an unknown solution? A solution whose strength is not known, whose strength I do not know. And I have to determine it using the process of titration. That solution is an unknown solution to me. Here known and unknown is deferred with respect to strength, with respect to concentration. Okay, the strength concentration means how much amount of the solute is present in that particular solution. So if I have an unknown solution whose strength I do not know, I will calculate that unknown solution using the process of titration. So the three terms: titration, endpoint, and unknown solution. Then you have a known solution. The known solution is also called the standard solution. Why standard? Because I know its strength. I know its strength accurately. I know the exact amount of solute present in that particular solution. Why are we talking solution? Means solute and solvent together. Okay, so how much of solute is present, how much of solvent, I know the concentration of that particular solution. Then I say it's a known solution. And it is a standard solution because I'm going to use this as a reference, as the main standard to find out the unknown sample, to find out the strength of the unknown solution. So the solution whose strength is accurately known during this process of titration, we say is called the known or the standard solution. Now, standard solutions can be of two types. Standards are of two types: primary standard, secondary standard. Primary standards, like for example copper sulfate hydrated, ferrous ammonium sulfate, sodium thiosulfate, oxalic acid, these are primary standards because I can simply take the amount in a particular weighing tube and weigh it on a balance. I can weigh suppose I need 10 grams of oxalic acid, I can exactly weigh 10 grams of oxalic acid on a balance. I need copper sulfate, I take a weighing watch glass and then on that I weigh the amount of copper sulfate, and exactly 10 or 20 or whatever amount of copper sulfate I require, I can weigh them and take it. and then dissolve in exactly that much amount of whatever amount of solution solvent I require, and I will get a particular standard solution whose strength I will know. 20 grams of copper sulfate in 250 ml of water. Then if I am weighing 20 grams, copper sulfate would be 20 grams only. Oxalic acid, if I am weighing suppose 25 grams, and 25 grams of oxalic acid would be present in that 250 or 300 whatever amount of water we have taken. Okay, so primary standards are those substances which can be accurately weighed and whose solutions are not to be standardized. We don't have to use a process or titration to actually make it known. To standardize means to make it known. It is already weighed. We can easily weigh them simply on a balance. That's a primary standard. Now, secondary standards. Secondary standards are those substances whose exact strength cannot be prepared by weighing. For example, NaOH. Suppose I need 25 grams of NaOH. I take 25 grams approximately and I start weighing it on a weighing machine. When I weigh it on a weighing machine, 25 grams, sodium hydroxide, it may absorb water from the moisture from the air. And it may react with carbon dioxide present. So what happens is, when I am weighing it, after I weigh, I may be weighing as 25 grams. But when I use it for the solution, it may be a little more or less depending on the time, the substance. Okay, H2SO4 may absorb moisture. So instead of having that much of exact amount of H2SO4, I may have a little more of water in it, or it may be not the exact amount. That means the precise strength cannot be prepared by simply weighing it. That is why I have to first take a primary standard and then titrate it with a secondary standard, and then come to know what exactly is the amount of secondary standard, is the precise strength of that particular secondary standard. So that process where I am using a primary standard to know the strength of the secondary standard, we say standardizing or making the secondary standard a standard substance, standard solution. Getting me? So secondary standards are those substances whose solutions of precise strength, exact strength, accurate strength cannot be prepared by weighing, and it requires to be standardized first before we use it for titration. Okay, so standard solution is of two types, primary and secondary. Primary is perfect. You have to just weigh it on a balance. You would need not standardize it, and you can make its solutions directly. Whereas secondary solutions are those whose strength cannot be prepared directly by weighing, because it will not give us the exact amount or the accurate amount, and it has to be first standardized and then used for the titration process. Examples of primary standard: you have oxalic acid, copper sulfate, ferrous ammonium sulfate, sodium thiosulfate, etc. Secondary standards: you have NaOH or KMnO4, H2SO4, etc. These are your secondary standards. Okay, so that is a standard solution. Now we come to the next term, that is the concentration. So we are first going across with the different terms that we are going to use for volumetric. Okay, we are coming to one very important term that is said to be the concentration, or it is called the strength of a solution or the composition of a solution. More often we don't use much on composition, we generally go on to concentration and strength. Okay, so what is the concentration of a particular substance? That is the amount of solute dissolved in a particular amount of solvent. How much of solute is dissolved in a solvent? That is said to be its concentration. Now that can be expressed in different units. Okay, strength also is almost the same. What do we say is the amount of solute dissolved in a particular amount of solvent, we say is the strength. So they can be expressed in different ways. The first way in which we can express the strength of a particular solution is mass percentage, or percentage by mass. The mass percentage means, the word itself will tell you, percentage and mass. That means mass of the component per 100 gram of the solution, because it is mass by mass. W by W is its notation, where we means mass of the solute with mass of the solution. So mass of the component per 100 gram of the solution. Suppose I say 5% of NaCl by weight. It means that solution contains 5 gram NaCl and 95 gram water, because a solution has to be in 100 grams. Solution means solvent plus solute. Okay, so 5 gram of NaCl per 100 gram of solution is 5 plus 95, and its percent we say is mass percentage. Okay, so mass percentage is the mass of the component per 100 gram of the solution. Now you have to go very slow with these these videos over here now when we come to the terms in volumetric, and you will have to learn these different definitions and also its formulae. And whenever you are solving down numericals, it is very important that you write down the formulae, substitute the formulae, and then do your calculations. Okay, so when we say mass percentage, what is mass percentage? Mass percentage is the mass of the component per 100 gram of the solution. That means mass percent of the solute would be mass of the solute divided by mass of the solute plus mass of the solvent, because I need the solution over here, into 100. Now mass percent can be also expressed in parts per million, parts per billion. You must have heard that the pollution in air containing sulfur dioxide or carbon monoxide is this many parts per ppm units. Okay, so ppm means parts per million. That is when we have very trace amount of solute and in very, very small amounts of solute. Then the concentration of the solution generally we express in terms of parts per million or parts per billion. Still smaller would be parts per billion. So parts per million means mass of the solute in grams present in 1 million grams of the solution. You're getting me? Parts per million would be mass of the solute in grams present in 1 million, 10 to the power 6 grams of the solution. And parts per billion means mass of the solute in grams present in 1 billion, 10 to the power 9 grams of the solution. So when we say, for example, concentration of sulfur dioxide in air is somewhere around, let me take 432, or it's very high actually, parts per million. That means that many grams is present in 1 million grams of the solution air. Okay, so that is parts per million. And parts per billion the same way in terms of 10 to the power 9. So mass of the solute in grams present in 1 billion gram of the solution we say is parts per billion, and ppm, that is parts per million, is the mass of the solute in grams present in 1 million 10 to the power 6 grams of the solution. That is parts per million and billion. So one way to use that means mass percentage is one way in which we can use in terms of finding out the strength of a particular solution. If I say 5% NaCl, I say 10% calcium carbonate, I say that means I am talking in terms of weight, then that much NaCl, 5 grams of NaCl in 100 gram of the solution. That means if 5 gram is NaCl, then 100 minus 5, 95 would be the solvent. Here it is water. So we say 95 gram of water and 5 gram of NaCl. In terms of percentage, we say is 5% of NaCl. So that is in terms of mass percentage. Okay. Then we have volume percentage. There we talked about mass. We spoke about mass. Mass in terms of weight. Okay. Now we are going to talk about volume percentage. Volume percentage means, or percentage by volume. That means V by V. That means solute also is in terms of volume and solution is also in terms of volume. We are going to find out. So what is volume percentage or what is percentage by volume? Volume of a solute in any particular unit present in 100 units, the same unit, of the volume of the solution. Volume of a solute present in the 100 units of the volume of the solution. For example, 10% ethanol in terms of volume percentage means 10 ml of ethanol or ethyl alcohol in 100 ml of solution. You getting me? So when we say 10 ml of ethanol, so volume of the solute 10 ml, volume of the solution would be 100 ml. So percentage by volume means the volume of the solute present in 100 units of the volume of the solution. So volume percentage is volume of the solute by the volume of the solvent into 100. No, not solvent, it would be solution. Sorry, it would be solution. So volume of the solute by volume of the solution into 100. So when solute is in traces, here also we can express it in ppm. For example, 10 ppm SO2 in air means around 10 to the power, that means that 10 centimeter cube or 10 ml in terms of centimeter cube of SO2 is present in 1 million centimeter cube, 10 to the power 6 centimeter cube of air. So when it is present in traces, we again go for ppm in terms of parts per million in terms of volume also. So volume percentage, volume of a solute present in 100 units of the volume of the solution. So volume percent is volume of the solute divided by volume of the solution into 100. Okay. Next we have grams per liter. This is simple. The word, the name itself will tell you. Grams per liter. That means the concentration of a solution in grams per liter means the amount of the solute in grams present in 1 liter of the solution. Once again, what is grams per liter? Means mass. That means mass of the solute in grams present in 1 liter of the solution. That means I have taken solution in terms of 1 liter volume and I have taken solute in terms of grams, its mass. So grams per liter means the amount of the solute in grams present in 1 liter of the solution.